All respect, Fran, Stephen, all respect, but Paul Scholes is my favorite one.
Yeah? Why?
I love it. I think he had everything.
Every time I was literally looking at him going, I can't believe I'm playing next to you. Like,
It's mad, that, isn't it?
Everyone agrees Paul Scholes was great. That's not the debate. Alongside Steven Gerrard, alongside Frank Lampard. But then the conversation moves on. Trophies. Goals. Moments. And somewhere in that noise, Paul Scholes becomes difficult to explain.
I have to go with Paul Scholes. And I love CVG, but I have to go with Paul Scholes. Paul Scholes was just ahead in his head. He was making them tick.
Because he wasn't built for highlight reels. He wasn't built for narratives. He didn't run games with power. He didn't dominate with athleticism. And yet, the longer you watch him, the less the game makes sense without him.
Every time we were playing them, we needed to find a way to stop him.
He didn't just play in great teams at Manchester United. He made them work. He controlled tempo without touching the ball. He dictated matches without raising his voice.
Before you pass him the ball, he was always 2 steps ahead where to pass and move, pass and move, pass and move. Always good on 1-2 touches.
And if you ask the players who actually played the game, the ones who had to face him, the answer becomes almost uncomfortable because they don't hesitate. They don't debate. They just say his name.
Your job, where Paul Scholes go, you go. If Paul Scholes goes to the toilet, you go to the toilet with him.
So this isn't about proving Paul Scholes was great. This is about understanding why.
I came as a young kid who wants to learn. So I was watching Scholesy.
Scholes is different.
Paul Scholes says that.
I love it.
Yeah?
Oh,
He's my favorite.
He's your favourite player?
he's the only player Sir Alex Ferguson never give a hair dryer.
So how good was Paul Scholes, really?
Scholes! Oh, take that out!
After Scholes come, bam!
And
I the boy shot and then he go
I
cry.
remember, yeah. And
Oh,
Yeah.
what a goal! Paul Scholes has produced one from the top drawer just when United needed it. What a goal from Paul Scholes! And Old Trafford has exploded here.
There's a kind of footballer we are trained to love. The one who celebrates with arms wide open. The one who points to the badge. The one who gives you a moment, a single crystalline moment, that you replay in your head for 20 years. Gerrard had Istanbul. Cantona had the collar. Beckham had the goal from the halfway line. Paul Scholes had none of that. And that is precisely where the problem starts.
I don't mean to demean or criticise any of the great or very good footballers who played for me during my 26-year career at United, but there were only 4 who were world class. Cantona, Giggs, Ronaldo and Scholes.
But my duration at Man United, the best player I played was Paul Scholes.
He was unreal, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was just a step ahead of every other player on the football pitch. Not only in games, but also in training. He was, you couldn't touch him.
He grew up in Langley, a suburb of Rochdale. Quiet town, unremarkable by design. Scholes fit right in. He came through United's academy alongside Beckham, Butt, the Nevilles, Giggs. The class of '92, football's most romanticised generation. But even in that group, a group so well documented you could practically quote their school reports, Scholes stood slightly apart. Not because he was worse, because he was quieter. He didn't say much. But on the training pitch every single day, he was the best player there. And that training ground had some serious footballers on it. This is the paradox of Paul Scholes. He was brilliant in a way that doesn't photograph well. He was exceptional in a way that doesn't clip well. You can make a 2-minute reel of Gerrard's best moments and it'll make a grown man cry. You can make a 2-minute reel of Lampard's best goals and it'll trend overnight. You make a 2-minute reel of Scholes' best moments and, if you don't know football, you'll watch it and think, yeah, so what? That's the trap. That's exactly the trap. Think about how we measure midfielders in the public eye. We measure Lampard in goals. He scored over 200 for Chelsea. Easy metric, universally legible. We measure Gerrard in moments. The miracle of Istanbul, the slip, the screamer against West Ham. Narrative gold, built for cameras. We measure Scholes in control. And control is invisible to the naked eye. Control doesn't explode on screen. It doesn't spike the emotion. It doesn't make you leap from your sofa. Control just makes everything work. And then, when it's gone, you notice the machinery has stopped. And you can't quite explain why.
For me, Scholes is probably one of the most enjoyable players that I've ever had the pleasure in playing on a football pitch with. Just to play behind someone like that who makes the game look so effortless and easy. Sometimes you need maybe to have a bit more of a profile to be appreciated like that. But he's someone who'll go down as a great, definitely.
What was it like playing with Scholes alongside him? I played behind, so I was always watching everything, but you played alongside him. Just talk us through what that was like and how good he was.
I think I used to ring my brother on the way back from training most days over that first 2 or 3 years and just almost say, I can't believe I'm playing with Scholes. Like, you should have seen what Scholes did today, or how good was that today, or this or that. Every time I was literally looking at him going, I can't believe I'm playing next to you. Like,
it's mad, that, isn't it?
Yeah, and it was more styles, to be fair. He was like, they say styles make fights, but actually styles make kind of you and Vida. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, for whatever reason, it just works, clicks. And I always felt with Scholes, and not a lot of midfielders would do it, but you'd pass to him and you get it back. So he'd almost play a little 2v2 in the middle of the pitch. And that's what it felt like. Didn't feel like a big pitch. It felt like it was me and him against their midfielders, and he would keep it there for a while, 2 or 3 passes, and sometimes you'd pass to a midfielder and the ball's gone and it switched the play, but you never felt in control or got a rhythm. Whereas Scholes, it was always like, it was all little passes and the ones around the corner and little. He was just. I've never seen a brain like him, right? And I don't even know if he thought about it or if it was just pure instinct or what. Like.
There is also the marketing problem. Scholes never had a boot deal worth writing home about. He never featured on posters. He didn't do the magazine covers. He wasn't the face of Manchester United, even when he was arguably its most important player. Beckham got the book deals and the film. Keane got the autobiography that sold 1 million copies on pure anger alone. Scholes got a reputation, a quiet, underground reputation, whispered between footballers like a secret only professionals were allowed to know. If you know football, you know Scholes. And that whisper never stopped. It just got louder.
How did you find him as a teammate? Because I've worked with him a few times.
Quiet?
So, yeah,
Very
he's quiet. It's really quiet.
I mean,
isn't he?
obviously it changed now with his being a pundit. He's got very strong opinions, but that's fine. But as a player, he's really quiet. Didn't really say a lot.
Again, in a small space in the training, he was very sharp on the ball because he was thinking, was very quick as well. Before you pass him the ball, he was always 2 steps ahead where to pass and move, pass and move, pass and move. Always good on 1-2 touches, pass and move like Barcelona used playing. And his passing precision's out of this world, obviously. And he was tackling as well. He can be mean when you want to be.
Can he?
Yeah. So overall, everybody else, how world-class player he was. But the most important, he was very good the quality on the ball. So he will be the guy who control, dictate the game.
everyone we speak to when we do this says how good Scholes was in training, one of the best, and a lot of people who played with Scholes pick him in their team. Do you think in his prime he was the best midfielder in European football? Yeah. You do?
Him together with Xavi and Iniesta, for me, if you mash them all together, you're going to have one player who is unbelievable. And there is the reason that everybody is mentioning Scholes to be one of the best. It's not coincidence. Like you said, a lot of people are saying that. So you can repeat all the time, but it is the truth. It is the truth. And you were just like this. And the funny thing was that he was going out to the training, no warm up, nothing. Start shooting instantly,
Really?
Hitting people in the head from 60 yards or something like this, If I do that, groin problem, muscle problem, muscle tear, we're already stretching and doing something. He doesn't need that.
Okay.
He was
Here is the argument people reach for when they want to diminish Paul Scholes. He was playing in a great Manchester United team, and yes, he was. Ferguson's United was a machine of rare quality, titles, European nights, a squad full of leaders and elite players. So the question is fair. Was Scholes great because of the system? Or did the system work because of him? Start with what the system asked of him. In his early years, Scholes wasn't a deep playmaker. He was a second striker, a number 10 in instinct, if not always in name. He scored goals, he linked play, he arrived late into the box with perfect timing. Between 1994 and 1999, he scored over 40 goals. People forget this. Before the tactical conversations, Scholes was a goal scorer. Then the role evolved. As United's midfield balance shifted, Scholes moved deeper, gradually, not suddenly. He stopped punctuating attacks and started controlling them. He became the player who set tempo, the player who saw the pass before the pass, the player thinking 3 moves ahead. And this is where the system player argument starts to fall apart. Scholes didn't just operate within United's system. He became central to how it functioned.
Jose says, Pedro Mendes, your job, where Paul Scholes go, you go. If Paul Scholes goes to the toilet, you go to the toilet with him. That's how we beat them. So then we say, good luck, Pedro.
Toughest opponent, my one that I always thought I had to think about was Paul Scholes. When I was coming through Arsenal, and at the time, this is when Arsenal and Man U were going for league titles and everything. They was like the hatred, the rivalry. And I remember now, so we're talking to top players at Arsenal. So with Thierry, Perez, Bergkamp, all they used to say to Patrick and the midfield boys, Petit or whether it's whoever else going to fill in, they'd be like, listen, stop Paul Scholes, right? Don't let him get his head up. Stop him and we win the game. And that's like them players there. They rated Scholes. He's so high. It was like, he just literally dictates everything. You stop him, you stop the supplier to everything else.
Toughest opponent?
I would probably say here in England, Paul Scholes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm always so good about Paul Scholes. Sid has discussed this before.
Unpredictable and such a great player. And hard as well, on battle. He was a great character, personality, but as well, talents, he could change like this, the game.
Paul Scholes was just ahead in his head. He was making them tick. He was making Man United tick. Every time we were playing them, we needed to find a way to stop him.
He's just
No, it's a great finish to the show. I mean, we finished Scoresy.
No, it's true.
Scholes was different. Listen, all right, look. We played against a few times where, see, we play 4-4-2. One of the lines always drops in on a deep midfielder. I remember a few times at Old Trafford when Harry would say to me, right, try and stop Scholes getting the ball. Crouch, stay high. And he'll get it. He'll just come in between the two centre-halves, he'll get it. And he used to ping it, right? And then the fullback, it'd always go over the fullback's head. Just that, yeah. Do you know what I mean? The fullback would never get it, and it's just like, and then the winger just touch and cross. His passing was, it would break lines.
How many goals would you have got at United if you'd signed them? Jesus, if play like that, isn't it?
You have to score like 30 goals a season. You have to.
United were devastating in transition, pace wide, power up front, but none of that worked without control in the middle. Scholes was that control. When he played, everything flowed better. Wingers received cleaner balls. Strikers made runs with certainty. The rhythm held under pressure, and he did it almost invisibly. That wasn't a weakness, that was the point. Now, look at his passing. Most midfielders play what's available. Scholes played what was coming next. He didn't go around defensive lines. He went through them. His passes weren't powerful, they were exact. Perfect weight, perfect timing. The receiver didn't adjust, didn't slow down. The game just continued. That's not passing, that's control of the entire sequence. Then there's his spatial awareness. Scholes always seemed to have space, not because it was given, but because he created it early. Before the ball arrived, he had already checked his surroundings, already opened his body, already mapped the pitch. Today we call it pre-scanning. He was doing it instinctively 2 decades ago. And then decision speed. Where most players need time, Scholes didn't. One touch, release, again and again. It looked simple. It wasn't. The game didn't slow down because he played slowly. It slowed down because he processed it faster than everyone else. So was he great because of the system? No. He wasn't the system on his own, but he was the reason it worked as smoothly as it did. Ferguson knew it, his teammates knew it, and every opponent felt it, even if they couldn't quite explain why everything kept breaking down. Around one quietly brilliant man from Oldham.
Scholes is something else, man,
Something
wasn't he?
passing,
In
yeah.
terms of, but Giggs kind of had a bit of a kind of longer career, was incredibly consistent. But Scholes, Scholes. I mean, there's not a lot. There's obviously not a lot. They're both absolutely brilliant and wonderfully gifted players. But you played with Scholes.
With Scholes and against, he
I'm
was,
envious.
He was unbelievable, sensational. Everything, passing, technique, control.
I
There is
mean,
nothing we can say about those two that we haven't said or anyone else hasn't said how amazing they are.
I mean, obviously they're very different players. I mean, playing different positions and have absolutely, totally different strengths. Giggs up and down that touchline, but primarily going forward. He could beat players, crossing the ball, score a few goals. Scholes would score spectacular goals as well. Scholes started kind of up front, didn't he? When he first got into the United team, he'd
10 role-ish,
10, and even as a 9 on occasions, as they call it now. He would play up top, but he was definitely better. I mean, his passing range out.
Amazing. He used to ping those balls in, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, you should know. You miscontrolled a few of them.
I did, yeah, you're right. He's a brilliant passer of the ball. Superb.
Yeah.
Great technique.
Yeah.
One of the best, if not the...
There is a word football people use when they talk about Scholes. Not power, not pace, not flair. Touch. The first touch is a moment of vulnerability. The ball is arriving, the defender is closing, space is shrinking. Your first touch either solves the problem or makes it worse. Scholes more often than not solved it. The ball didn't bounce. It rarely needed correction. It simply settled, stopping or moving exactly where it needed to. One-touch passing is where analysis begins to fall short. Because what looks simple rarely is. To play one touch at his level, everything was decided before the ball arrived. The target, the weight, the angle. This wasn't just technique. It was awareness meeting execution. When pressure came, he didn't rush. He didn't force it. He moved it, sometimes with the slightest contact. The ball went, he was gone. And the press was beaten. Try it again, and the same thing would happen. Pressing him often felt futile. You could close the space, but he was never quite in it. Then there was tempo. Not slowing the game, controlling it. When United needed calm, he kept the ball moving, stretching the pitch, drawing opponents out. When they needed urgency, he changed it in an instant. A switch, a pass through the lines, a sudden shift in rhythm. He managed both.
And I came as a young kid who wants to learn. So I was watching Scholes also play and try to understand what I have to do on the pitch to be there, to be a first 11, you know. And I was watching him. He was dominating, taking the ball, long balls there, shooting from far. He was a proper box-to-box player.
Paul Scholes, I think he's one of the most underestimated players, I think, in the world when he played. And I always said, you know, if there's one player who can play easily with Barcelona, you know, with the small position and playing in small spaces, and then it's Paul Scholes. Maybe it's because of himself, because he didn't like the press, you know, he didn't want to have all the attention. But I think if you see him play, it looks so easy. And all we like to have those type of players like Paul Scholes, you know, central midfield a lot of times, you know, because you can always play him in, and he can create a 2 against 1 somewhere else on the pitch, you know, and eventually you get to the attackers to create chances.
It's Paul Scholes. I used to watch him. I used to study Scholes because I knew I was going to go back and play midfield at some point in my career. So I used to watch him. And
what's his greatest attribute?
Composure. He's never been quick, Scholes, even when he was young. But you can't get near him.
It's mad, isn't it? When you say that.
You can't get near him.
Explain why you can't get near him. Like, break that down for me.
Because he steps ahead. When you said earlier on about me having this football IQ, and I used to lie there, the Queen's Gambit, the chess thing. I used to lie there, not see a chessboard, but almost like that, and see the game. So I always used to think I could anticipate 2, 3, 4 passes ahead, so I can put myself in a position where I know the ball's going to come here in 10 seconds time. So you get yourself in a position where you've got time and space. I think Scholes is 2, 3 steps ahead of me on that.
Wow.
And he's just...
So what did you pick up from him specifically when you were watching him?
That you actually don't have to run that much to get on the ball. And that's the hardest thing in football. I always say the hardest thing in football to do is to stand still.
And the ball comes to you.
When you think about it, the game, ball gets switched, every player's come across. So if you come across, the space is getting tighter and tighter. So if you just wait and be patient, because 9 times out of 10 it comes back here and it goes back this side. Then you've got time. So the hardest thing in football to do, and Scholes was the best at that.
Comparisons to Xavi and Andrea Pirlo are useful, not because they played the same way, but because they understood the same thing. Football is not about running, it is about thinking. Movement creates space. But the player who decides where the ball goes controls it. Xavi did it at Barcelona, Pirlo did it in Italy, Scholes did it at Manchester United. Different contexts, same idea. The game moved at his pace, not yours.
Xavi or Scholes?
You put me in a position where Xavi is the great example of La Masia, of Barca, of pass the ball, take the ball, pass the ball 5 meters, 10 meters, 15 meters. The touch of Scholes was different. I mean, how he impact the ball 30 meters and the ball, how goes through the grass, you know. I mean, this was magical. But Xavi, he cannot lose a ball. Neither Scholes, but
Scholes takes more risks, I think.
Exactly. Xavi is more control, that he brings the team from the defense or from your pitch to the other pitch, and Scholes is more English style.
The spring of 2008, Old Trafford, Champions League semi-final. Manchester United against Barcelona. 59th minute, a clearance drops outside the box. Because it wasn't unusual.
Here's Scholes. Oh! What a belter by Paul Scholes.
For much of his career, Scholes had long-range shooting as a genuine threat. It just existed alongside everything else he did. He scored from distance against Newcastle, Villa,
Scholes. Oh!
strikes that made highlights, but rarely shaped the broader narrative.
This is Scholes. Oh, what a way to finish! A screamer from Paul Scholes. And that is harsh in all honesty on Everton.
Part of that was presentation. No celebration to linger on. No sense of performance. He scored, turned, and moved on. Moments like that didn't build mythology. They simply advanced the game. That goal against Barcelona stands out in that run. Not the loudest, but technically as clean as any. His goals in title races followed a similar pattern. United's dominance often rested on small margins. Results in February and March that quietly defined May. Scholes contributed in those moments. But football tends to remember the finish, not the accumulation. His influence was absorbed into the team story, when it often warranted closer attention. Then there's England. 66 caps, 14 goals, retired at 29. England never quite constructed a midfield that brought out the best in him. Instead, they tried to accommodate several elite players in similar areas, and the balance never fully settled. That wasn't his burden alone. It was structural. He stepped away in 2004 and didn't return, even when asked.
Paul Scholes, he could play everywhere, and Paul Scholes was fantastic. The biggest problem, one of the biggest problems I had was when he came to me and said he didn't want to play more for England for several reasons, but that was a sad day, and I tried 1 month later to convince him to change his mind, but he didn't. So he finished 2004 in Portugal, and that was a pity. Well, a lot of discussion. What do you do with Beckham, Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard, Scholes, and so on? You let them play because they are so good, so they should be on the pitch. All four of them. I would have liked to see the critics if I put some of them on the bench.
And who were the guys with the touch?
Okay, so when I first got into the squad in 2004, like Scholes was just finishing.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember obviously playing against Scholes and all that sort of stuff. And I remember seeing him in training, and it's just like the touch, the ping, the short pass, the long, everything. You know, just a complete player.
Is he as good as everyone said he was? Yeah. I never had the privilege, so.
Yeah, just everything. But again, just like natural. Because you look at him and you think, can you teach that, or did you just that just come through the youth team, all that Beckham, Scholes, that lot? They just have that, like, do you know what I mean? And just like, even with his finishing, Scholes, the amount of goals that he scored, and we speak about the first touch, but like if you look at his goals, some of them bangers as well, like, do you know what I mean? But yeah, his first touch. When I saw him, I thought, yeah, I can see what the hype's about, because you have to see it, innit?
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean? In training firsthand, I know what the hype's about. But all of them, of course, Lampard, all that lot. But Scholes was the one. Technically, it was just like
ABC.
Yeah, man, easy.
Then in 2012, he came back, 37 years old. Within weeks, he looked entirely at ease again. Not because the physical demands hadn't changed, but because his reading of the game hadn't. He helped United to another league title, then left quietly. The goals people forget aren't minor details. They're evidence of a player whose influence extended beyond what was remembered, and, at times, beyond what was even noticed.
Scholes, when he came to training, he came last, but when he come to that training pitch,
different level.
Not just different level. He's playing 100%.
Yeah.
So what is it? It's mentality.
Yeah.
I think mentality. Mentality is something which make a difference from good player to the top player.
For the thing I talking about the midfielder, I will go for Scholes.
Scholes.
Because he's complete. He can score. He can make play, teammate, defending, running, passing, assist. It's too much.
Paul Scholes says that.
I love it.
Yeah?
Oh, He's my favorite.
He's your favorite player?
We fight, you know.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, look, if you look into the camera, just say sorry when you break his nose in the Champions League final. Remember?
We are smaller together, you know.
But you break his nose, I thought, he had a fight or something with you.
Exactly.
But you love him as a player, yeah?
Oh.
Why?
He's like me, fighter, technique, brain. He's everything.
Paul Scholes was lurking, and Manchester United have the lead.
Here is where weaker arguments tend to soften. This one shouldn't. Because Paul Scholes had flaws, and they matter. The tackling. There's no real way around it. He was not a good tackler. He was booked more often than most midfielders of his level, and sent off in moments that were difficult to justify. He mistimed challenges, arrived late, went to ground when he didn't need to. And it wasn't rare, it was part of his game.
I mean, the one thing I suppose was tackling. He was tackled, but other than that,
he would tackle, but he would miss time if he was aggressive,
and
wasn't
maybe
he?
it was one or two were on purpose. Definitely, he could.
Yeah, but some people say you need that kind of side to you.
He could look after himself.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
He was naughty now and again, wasn't he? In a tackle.
Yeah.
Now the context. Scholes was never meant to be a ball winner in the mould of Roy Keane. His defensive work came through positioning, reading passing lanes, stepping in, cutting moves off early. The problem was what happened when that broke down. Because when he had to tackle, he often chose to, and that was where the risk sat. It cost him, and at times it cost United. There were suspensions at important moments. Games missed where his presence would have changed the rhythm entirely.
How good was Cozy? I mean,
I promise you, Joe, before we're gonna start, he's the only player Sir Alex Ferguson never give a hairdryer. So this will start with that statement.
Yeah.
When people ask me who is the best player you play with when you are United, people expect me to say Cristiano or Wayne. Is Paul Scholes and Ryan Giggs. And you know, what a man also. He dictated the tempo. You know how many times Ferguson was telling us, you are stupid, ignorant, just pass the ball to Scholesy. Scholesy controlled the game. And you know, Scholesy was so also nasty on the pitch. Sometime in training.
But he's got the worst tackle in football history.
He can't tackle. I will tell you a story that he's clumsy. He can't tackle.
No.
So every time in training, he go hard and he loved me. And every time I was like, Scholesy, what's the matter with you? Did I owe you some money? And his best answer was always looking straight in my eyes, say, why not? And walking past. And like John said, he can't tackle. We play against AS Roma, Champions League.
Oh yeah.
He had a yellow card. Half time he come. Ferguson, please. Coach, please.
Don't tackle.
You can't tackle. You know you can't tackle. Son.
We know.
Don't tackle. After 10 minutes, Scholesy, boom, yellow card sent off. I promise you, John, we lost 2-1 at Roma, then after we beat them 7-2. But we were more happy to see finally it's gonna get the air dryer than losing the game. Everyone was like, oh my God, Scholesy gonna get it.
Yeah.
We arrive in the dressing room. Guys, we should have win the game, blah, blah, blah. It's such a disappointment. And he looks Scholesy. I told you can't tackle. Why you do that? For fuck's sake. That's it. We were so disappointed.
You were waiting for the hairdryer.
We were like, come on, John. He can't do us like that. And he didn't get it, but
training is very hard because always competition. Me against Scholes. Scholes making Nani cry. I remember one time.
Why?
Garanev kicking Nani. Yeah, I think Nani comply, kick Garanev. After Scholes come, bam! I the boy shout Nani go cry.
I remember, yeah. And he
yeah.
like this. Oh man.
Boy, so many players cry.
Alex Ferguson managed around it, but it was something that needed managing. Scholes depended on others. Nicky Butt, Owen Hargreaves, Michael Carrick to provide what he didn't. They did. But that support wasn't optional. It was structural, a balance built around his strengths and in acknowledgement of his limitations. He was a player whose quality on the ball justified that compromise. And that is the key point, because it was a compromise, a deliberate one. And any honest assessment of Scholes has to hold both sides at once. The brilliance and the gap. In 2008, Zinedine Zidane spoke about the best players he had faced. Among them, he named Paul Scholes. Zidane, who shared the pitch with Ronaldo, Figo, Rivaldo, Vieira, didn't point to the loudest name. He pointed to Scholes. Xavi did the same, repeatedly, over years. The defining midfielder of Barcelona's golden era consistently described Scholes would be played, not as a compliment. As a technical judgment, Xavi understood control, tempo, angles, weight of pass, and he saw it in Scholes.
If you had to pick out just one player, although they're a fantastic team like you, who do you think could be there?
Manchester?
First? Yes.
Paul Scholes. I would like to have this player with us. Maybe he sees some doubts and he thinks about before to retire, to make a good experience in the foreign country. We would like to have this.
Player's got to be Paul Scholes. Scholes, he was a genius, absolute genius. You know, he was a centre-forward's dream. You make a run and you put the ball perfectly in your path. He liked to tackle. He wasn't the best at timing his tackles, but he was a tough player. And any footballer you ask will always say Scholes was one of the best players that they have ever played with. So,
Rio Ferdinand saw it up close, training day after day. His descriptions are never theatrical, just consistent. The passes, the timing, the decisions that didn't need explaining, because everyone on the pitch felt them. Eric Cantona called him a genius. No build-up, no exaggeration, just a statement.
Just to play behind someone like that who makes the game look so effortless and easy, does all the basic things as good as you'd want in a player, and then does the things that are obviously a lot more difficult as good as, if not better than anyone else. So to see someone play like that day in, day out, and I mean, when he told me he's retiring, I was like, whoa, like, you could still play for another 2 or 3 years easily. But he wants to be involved in every game, and I appreciate that, and you have to understand that, and that's why he's been so successful in his career, because his desire is to always be the best and to take part in the big games and the best games in the season. And if he's not getting that, then he's called time on his career. But what a fantastic career! Sometimes you need maybe to have a bit more of a profile to be appreciated like that. But he's someone who'll go down as a great, definitely.
So why is there still debate among fans? Because they're watching something different. The casual eye follows outcomes, goals, assists, moments. The professional watches process, positioning before the ball arrives, the angle of support, the pass that makes the next pass possible. These details rarely make the highlight reel, but they define the game. And when you start to see it that way, Scholes changes in front of you. Not louder, just clearer. Scholes is not spectacle, he is control. The kind that doesn't announce itself, but once you recognize it, you start seeing it everywhere. That is the Scholes effect. Not the moment. The understanding of it.
I think Scholes now
would be a joke.
Hands down would be the best midfielder in the Premier League. Fact.
Do you think that, yeah?
I do, yeah, because Scholes for me was very much an in-possession controller of a midfield, controller of a game.
Yeah.
Can switch the play. You get close to him, he could pop it round you, he can play the outside of his foot, he can switch the play, score important goals, make the last pass. Scholes' thing for me was, can you get him doing the other side of the game?
Running the other way.
Can you take him the other way? Can you be physical with him? He'll get booked against you. These type of things you could maybe try and get the better of him the other way, but I'm not sure in the stage game you could leave one on Scholes, for example. So he would have everyone terrorised in the Premier League. I'm telling you right now, he would have everyone terrorised in the Premier League now. He'd be the best midfielder in the Premier League now.
The debate has always been Gerrard, Lampard or Scholes. But the framing misses the point. They were not the same player. They were not doing the same thing. Ranking them on a single axis makes about as much sense as ranking a conductor, a pianist, and a singer. Lampard was the most goal-scoring central midfielder England has ever produced. Gerrard was the complete English midfielder as a concept, the one who could win it, drive it, score it, lead it, built for pressure, almost always delivered. And Scholes was the purest football mind of the three. Not the most complete, not the most prolific, but the one you hand the ball to in any team, any system, any era, and trust that the game will be played correctly.
No, it's true. And I think Stevie G comes really close to him. But Paul Scholes will have to help.
Zone, Steven Gerrard, you know.
I just think that there's something I always say. You guys in England are, I think, on paper, the best midfield in the world at one point.
He never won the Ballon d'Or, barely featured in the conversation surrounding individual awards. And yet, the players who won those awards name him in their influences. They speak about him with the reverence reserved for someone operating above the level of recognition. That gap between recognition and reputation is the Scholes story. 20 years of elite football, one club. A return from retirement that proved the quality was never fading, just waiting. 11 Premier League titles, 2 Champions League medals, and a generation of coaches, including Guardiola, who built the most celebrated football philosophy of the modern era, who understood that what Scholes did was not just skillful, it was structural. A blueprint, the control, the press resistance, the tempo. Guardiola's midfield philosophy is built on principles Scholes was playing by instinct. He didn't need a system. He was the system.
No, I think we've got a really good chance there.